Welcome back to the Big Z Breakdown. We're breaking down Brian Daboll to the, I almost said the Bills. Would have liked to see him go to the Bills. However, he goes as an offense coordinator to the Tennessee Titans. I actually love it a lot. Cam Ward has his kind of go-to guy. You were stuck with, a terrible situation coming in. Number one overall pick, not the best offensive line, not the best weapons. Calvin Ridley gets hurt, and you're stuck with Alec Iomayer and just a bunch of names that are rookies. Chimere Dike, who did step up in the return game, but their number 3 receiver, when Ridley got hurt, was James Proche. So that's definitely not a good sign. You got to buff up the offensive line a little bit. Here's the guys they got right now. Dan Moore, Peter Skoronski, Lloyd Cushenberry III, Kevin Zeitler, who was really good, is a free agent, but hopefully they can get him back, and then J.C. Latham. So it's a young offensive line. Skoronski and Latham, both couple of their first-round picks. But to be honest with you, I love the Daboll hire. And let's go back to, why he was a head coach of the New York Giants. Go back to his coach of the year when he led the Giants to the playoffs with Daniel Jones, might we add. And the stats are not great. Let's say that with a grain of salt, because their total offense was 18th in the league, about 330 yards a game. Passing offense, again, Daniel Jones was quarterback, 185 yards passing a game, but the 4th best rush attack in the NFL with, of course, Saquon Barkley. But we know Brian Daboll is a good coach. I mean, it was a bad situation for the Giants. I don't know if they should have fired him or not, but the fact that he lands on the Titans, it's a great opportunity for a young quarterback in Cam Ward to sling the ball. And I'm curious what they're going to do with their wide receiving core, because I feel like, is Calvin Ridley the veteran that you bring in? Does Cam Ward take a big jump in year 2? You have so many new head coaches, and Tennessee is one of those teams that intrigues me, like New England this year. You're always looking for that one team that takes that big step, right? With a Drake May or, a second-year quarterback. There's always those 1, 2, maybe 3 teams that go from the bottom of the division all the way leapfrog to the top, and that was the Patriots this year. Last year it was the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels, and with the amount of new coaches, even Liam Cohen had a great year with the Jaguars. Ben Johnson had a great year with the Bears. There were a bunch of great second-year or first-year head coaches that just went on fire. Mike Vrabel, again, mentioned the Patriots. But the Titans are a team that can do that in a first year. I didn't like the Robert Saleh hire originally, but if you can get him a good offensive coordinator and he doesn't have to worry about the offense, the Titans defense can be very good. And let's keep in mind, they have obviously the 4th pick this year, the 35th pick in the second round, and the biggest thing to note is the cap space. Tennessee has a whopping $93 million in cap space. Good news is they'll probably be able to re-sign Zeitler. I don't know if you want to re-sign him long-term because he is getting up there in age, but he was one of the better guards this year in terms of an 80-plus PFF grading. So what do you do in the draft? I feel like 4th overall pick, is it too high to take a wide receiver? I don't think so. You need a weapon for your number 1 wide receiver. Calvin Ridley, you can keep him. The contract is definitely not great, but I think if you can get a number 2 guy, put Chimere Dike in the slot, I'm really just trying to think about how this team goes. Who do you draft as a top receiver this year? Is it Carnell Tate? Is it the guy from Arizona and Jordan Tyson? There's a couple key names that you're going to look out for. I feel like for the good news for the Titans, at least having the 4th pick, Cardinals, Jets, Raiders above you. The Raiders are going Mendoza. Jets most likely not going to take a wide receiver. Cardinals, they got Marvin Harrison. I feel like, they have Michael Wilson. They're not going to take a wide receiver. So who do you go with? Now, the top receivers are great talents, but after the first 3-4 names, it is a deep class. You could probably get somebody in the second round. Say you wanted to go out and get the guy from Indiana, Elijah Surratt. I do love Surratt. He's a big body target for Cam Ward. But he's more of a mid-second round grade. Do you just draft Carnell Tate number 4 overall, or do you work on this defense? Let's take a look at the depth chart for the Titans, because obviously running back Tony Pollard, is that necessarily the RB1 do you want? Do you dare draft Jeremiah Love? There's not many big name running backs, but you just kind of spitballing here. What do we do with the offseason because you have so many guys? It's just a matter of the offseason as well. Like, I don't think you can go sign Mike Evans unless you like crazy amount for George Pickens. What do they do? So on the defensive side right now, left DN, Sebastian Joseph Day, Tavondre Sweat at the nose tackle, Jeffrey Simmons at the right defensive end. I'm just reading off the depth chart, the 3-4 base off ESPN. Cedric Gray, Arden Key, Darrell Baker Jr., Amani Hooker, Kendall Brooks, Kyer Elam. So Keeman Hall, they got some work to do. In the secondary, I'm fine with Amani Hooker. Kyer Elam was kind of passed along from the Bills. Their D-line is okay. Simmons has always been, Jeffrey Simmons has always been solid. Sebastian Joseph Day, pretty sure he's a free agent this upcoming season, but there's not really a big name that's a game changer on defense. So honestly, I don't even hate the fact of going with maybe you draft Ruben Bain at number 4 if he's not gone already. The best edge in the class, that's not even a bad start because then you have your kind of Will Anderson on defense. Obviously, I can't really compare, the top edge in the draft, but I think that's a huge game changer for the Titans defense. And I don't even hate if you do that as long as you go in free agency and go to the right guys accordingly, whether you can try and get a Mike Evans or a George Pickens or maybe trade for somebody who doesn't want a receiver on their team. I don't care if you go trade for DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore, again, a veteran, not necessarily a young buck coming in. Maybe you sign Wan'Dale Robinson, Alec Pierce. There's a lot of young names in free agency, but there's not many wide receiver ones that I'm like, oh, that guy is 1,000. Because Mike Evans obviously is a wide receiver 1, but at 32 years old, it's like, okay, how many years does he have left? Do the Titans want to pursue somebody like that? I could see them going after Alec Pierce of the Colts. So, again, a lot of interesting things that you could do in the offseason. Christian Kirk's a veteran. He's a free agent. Because, honestly, you would think Calvin Ridley could come back and have a decent connection with one of the receivers, but I think that's your veteran. Build around him with maybe a Wan'Dale Robinson and an Alec Pierce. You sign both of those guys, you got kind of a receiving core. And then maybe you go get Javonte Williams. Bring both the Dallas guys to Tennessee. I'm kind of just spitballing out loud, but let me know your guys' thoughts in terms of what are the Titans going to do with all of this money and free agency that they have, because they can load up on weapons. They got a lot of young guys in Alec Ayameyer and Chimere Dike that maybe aren't superstars, but they could be, role players, fill the void, and definitely step up when needed. The biggest question is Cam Ward's leapfrog year 2. That's going to be it. With Brian Daboll, can he be that guy? Now, I mentioned Brian Daboll in his 2022 Coach of the Year for the Giants. What I did not mention was his was his offensive coordinator job from the Bills from 2018 to 2021 before he was hired by the Giants. So Brian Daboll's a great coach. When he was the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, 2018 was one of the worst years for the Bills. 3rd worst points per game. 2nd worst yards per game. Run, not that bad. But as, it progressed, obviously Allen, he's doing pretty well. Right before Brian Daboll left. Total offense, 2nd. Passing offense, 3rd. Granted, their rush offense was bad at 20th, but Devin Singletary was running the football. But their points per game also top 2. So they were top 2 offense with Josh Allen throwing the football. With Cam Ward's talent, he's, no offense to Daniel Jones, Cam Ward is a lot more talented than Daniel Jones. I know Daniel Jones is in a great situation in Indy right now. Hopefully he can come back from the Achilles. But Brian Daboll can coach up Cam Ward. I really do believe that. You bring in a couple weapons. You bring in a good run game. You kind of shape the offensive line to what you want it to be. I don't even think the offensive line is bad. It's just, can you get the run game going? Is Tajay Spears the guy? You have Tony Pollard there too. It's like you need to get the run game going. You can't just have a subpar run game for a young quarterback. If you have an elite run game for a young quarterback, that is something that they can lean on. And again, Brian Daboll has a huge job to do in Tennessee, and I'm excited to see what they do. Robert Saleh had one of the better defenses when he was with the Jets. Obviously, the offense just didn't work itself out ever. Robert Saleh, known to be a great defensive coordinator in San Francisco, so maybe he works it out as a second opportunity to get a head coach coach. So good shout out Robert Saleh getting a head coaching job. But Brian Daboll, loving it for Cam Ward. Can the Titans take that year 2 jump? For the AFC South, it's going to be competitive, that's for sure. Whether Daniel Jones goes back to Indianapolis, I'm honestly a little nervous. You got Stefanski, you got Saleh, you got Liam Cohen now, and D'Amico Ryans with CJ Stroud. So the AFC South is a little scary, and I'm a little scared to see what happens with if Cam Ward can be that guy. In 1 year is a pretty significant jump. From Cam Ward had some flashes. The biggest thing was I feel like the talent around him just kind of let him down. So if he can stay in the driver's seats, not do any crazy mistakes, I think that's all you can ask for from a young quarterback. So maybe a Caleb Williams year 2, maybe a bounce back year. So definitely love what Tennessee is doing. It's all in the right cards for Cam Ward. A terrible rookie year, but again, talent around him not that great. Love the Brian Daboll hire. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that sub button if you're new. It's been Mike Zanetti on the Big Z Breakdown. Thank you guys for watching.